Hey Buffs, welcome to this April 14th edition of NewsTeam Boulder. First, we have an update on the much anticipated Buff Pool opening from earlier this week.
Later, we take a look at employment options for CU students, both on campus and down on Pearl.
Finally, a preview of next week's spring football game and the reason why it might be much tougher to find parking around Boulder next weekend.
All this and more on this Friday's edition of NewsTeam Boulder.
Welcome to another episode of NewsTeam Boulder. I'm Megan McPherson.
And I'm Derek Hernandez.
We've had a hot couple days, haven't we, Derek?
Oh, I know. I've nearly been melting in my suit.
Maybe you need to head down to the Buff Pool. Speaking of the Buff Pool, it's finally open for the season. It filled up so quickly the first day due to beautiful weather we have had. But what limitations are there in place? NewsTeam's Jessica Periani has that story.
Hey Buffs, it's the moment you've all been waiting for. The Buff Pool is finally opened. When it opened on Monday, it filled to capacity in 120 seconds. But what limitations are lying within it, and why did it take so long for people to get into the pool this year? The maximum capacity for the Buff Pool is 150 people at a time. Students were seen waiting for hours the first 2 days just to get in.
Buff Pool is just absolutely packed. There's just a line out the door. Any open square foot of space, there was 5-6 people standing there. I mean, it was an absolute just storm of people.
The Buff Pool will be open noon to 4 every day until the rec center decides to extend these hours depending on the weather. Usually, the hours will start to extend right after finals week, so keep an eye out for that. If you plan to go to the Buff Pool, make sure you plan accordingly. I'm Jessica Periani reporting for NewsTeam Boulder. Back to you guys.
On Monday, President Joe Biden signed a bipartisan congressional resolution to end the U.S.'s national emergency response to the COVID-19 pandemic after more than 3 years. Former President Trump declared the COVID-19 pandemic a national emergency in March of 2020. It is no surprise then, with this news and beautiful weather in the forecast, that so many people are out and about on Pearl Street again, enjoying the spring here in Boulder.
Anthony Deuce Roberson II, a wide receiver from Monument, Colorado, has been removed from the football team, according to the CU Athletics website. This comes just over a month after the Bold published an article revealing Roberson had an extensive history of sexual misconduct allegations when he committed to CU in December of 2022.
Boulder Police has advised residents to be on high alert after 5 suspected fentanyl overdoses over a 36-hour span this week. Anyone with information on who might be supplying these drugs is asked to contact Boulder Police Dispatch. CU students are able to pick up fentanyl test and Narcan at Wardenburg Wellness Center for no cost.
Coming up after the break, the economy may be looking better, and so are job opportunities.
Stay tuned.
Student employees help many of our favorite spots on campus run smoothly, but sometimes it can get overwhelming for them. NewsTeam's Mimi Herrick has more.
The average shift can be opening doors, getting things down from the ceilings, helping patrons with equipment, and dealing with injuries for facility supervisors Owen Woodman and Ainsley Latito.
Majority of our workload comes from radio calls, as well as injuries, and just things that happen in the rec. It's a 308,000 square foot building, so things are pretty unpredictable, especially with college students.
Latito and Woodman both work 20 to 25 hours per week, and sometimes the stress can catch up with them.
I have a complicated relationship with working where I love it and all my friends are here and it's extremely fun, but I also really value my just like health and my body.
Balancing work and school can be hard, especially with the rising cost of living.
I fiscally cannot work any less, so it's hard balancing the student employee. Employee usually wins.
The cost of living has increased 2.3% here in Boulder in the last year, making affording extra expenses even more difficult.
I will say just the biggest sap to my funds is just healthcare stuff. I spent like $10,000 on that last year alone.
While they can be overwhelming, on-campus jobs can be a way for students to find community.
I think that being a student employee is great because I've met the majority of my friends here.
Finding the right work-life balance is the key to succeeding as a student employee. Latito and Woodman seem to have got it right. Mimi Herrick, NewsTeam Boulder.
Those student employees will have plenty to spend their earnings on as inflation has dropped to its lowest rate since May of 2021. We have already seen a price drop in many items, such as an 11% drop in prices of eggs. Economists take this drop as a good sign we are headed towards greater price drops in other markets, such as housing. But not to get hopes up too much, as these developments are expected to happen later in the year, and there is still an expectation for one more rate spike.
Looking for jobs as a student can be difficult. NewsTeam Boulder's Leah Mayer talked to employees on Pearl Street about the balance between work and school life.
In downtown Boulder, Colorado, there is a street called Pearl Street lined with busy shops, restaurants, bars, and more. Especially as the weather begins to get warmer, the busier Pearl is. The semester is wrapping up and summer is closer, so now is a great time to find a job. I talked to a student worker on Pearl, Danielle Saeed, who says,
definitely, I really recommend working at Gelato Boy just because it's a fun little summer job. And, in the winters, our hours are a little cut back, so I can really focus on my schoolwork.
She says that it is primarily high school and college students working at the shop, so
everyone just covers for each other, it's like a camaraderie.
Unlike some other places in Boulder, Saeed describes Pearl as very active.
I see sometimes my friends coming in and it's more of it's more busy and there's a lot of adults, a variety of people coming in.
Some students may be worried about their busy school schedule and getting a job. Well, here on Pearl Street, some restaurants are prepared for students to stay on top of their studies while they thrive in the workplace. Saeed is in the engineering school, so she has a very busy schedule.
Super flexible with if I have an exam, I just put in I just request that time or that day off, and she'll make sure to definitely not schedule me.
A pizza parlor named Pizza Calori is actively hiring and are happy to have students. I talked to an employee, Tom Shepard, about how they feel with students working there.
Yeah, so we've got plenty of CU students that come here, that work here. It's always interesting to find the time because not everybody's class is on the same day, so we can always work around that.
Shepard says that it is definitely a balance of when they need people and the different times students can come in to work.
We're always looking for people who want to be here, always looking for people who want to get after it and always are just in it.
There are small and large businesses on Pearl hiring for multiple different positions, including hosts, cashiers, servers, etc.
Go out there, take yourself and a pile of resumes, and just talk to the wonderful small business owners that work around here. There's so many opportunities and so many places to just find that right fit for you.
I am Leah Mayer with NewsTeam Boulder.
Let's take a look at some events that are popping up this week. Today marks the last day of the Conference of World Affairs. But don't worry, as there are still a few seminars being held this evening if you're interested.
Tomorrow, head down to the Fisk Planetarium for Astronomy Day and participate in some fun free events, followed by a presentation from a special guest.
Or head to the Glenn Miller Ballroom at 7 p.m. and join Buffs After Dark in their Just Roll With It event for some free roller skating.
Finally, tickets have gone on sale for the Colorado Shakespeare Festival. Shows will be held July through August. But if you need your fix of Old English sooner than that, next weekend catch the CU Sandbox's production of Macbeth the 21st through 23rd.
When we come back, hear from NewsTeam's Piper Vaughn on what we can expect from the forecast over the next few days.
I hear there's supposed to be a cooling trend, though hopefully there's no more snow this year.
Agreed.
Happy Friday, Buffs! It's been an amazing week in terms of weather, from sunny, warm skies on Monday to students enjoying almost 80-degree weather on Tuesday. I'm Piper Vaughn, and here's what to expect for the upcoming days. Colorado today, we have a high of 52 and a low of 33, but expect to see some rain, which is different from the sunny skies we've been seeing. Moving on to the Colorado forecast, we have a high of 79 and 79 degrees also moving into Colorado Springs. But in the Rockies, expect to see temperatures remaining cooler, but be sure to get out and enjoy the spring weekend. However, be aware of the red flag warning and fire danger across Colorado. Moving into the national weather forecast, we have mixed precipitation, as I said, in Denver, so expect to see some rainy weekends. Moving into Alabama, we have mixed precipitation as well, so they're going to be having thunderstorms, and even parts of North Carolina, they're going to see a little bit of thunderstorms and rain. Moving into California, sunny skies as usual, and pretty cloudy other than that. Moving into our 4-day forecast, on Saturday it's going to be cloudy and probably a little bit of rain, as I said earlier. On Sunday, we're going to see some sunny skies and holding those warm temperatures to end our weekend. Moving into Monday, it's going to be a little bit warmer again, but keeping it cloudy and partially sunny skies. Then finally, moving into Tuesday, we have 69 degrees and a low of 43, holding on to that warm weather, but as I said earlier, we're still going to be seeing partially cloudy skies. Moving into our snow day forecast, Eldora powders 30 inches of machine-groomed snow, so be sure to get out there for closing weekend before you enjoy that fresh powder before it ends. Moving into our other ski resorts, in Copper we have 58 inches, in A-Basin 59 inches, in Breckenridge 58, and finally Vail with 68 inches of snow. So go get out there and enjoy the closing weekend while it lasts, Buffs. That's all for today's weather. Hopefully next week students will be able to continue to enjoy this beautiful weather on campus. Piper Vaughn, NewsTeam Boulder.
Next Saturday, April 22nd, will be a busy one here in Boulder. CU will welcome hundreds of Colorado high school seniors for Colorado In-State Admitted Student Day. Prospective Buffs will have the opportunity to celebrate their admission, meet fellow admitted students, and check out the residence halls. Traffic and parking is expected to be much heavier in Boulder next weekend, so be sure to plan accordingly.
Also next Saturday, an anticipated 50,000 Buff fans will pack a sold-out Folsom Field for the 2023 Black and Gold Spring Football Game. The scrimmage will be the first taste of the Coach Prime era here at CU. The Buffs game is the only college scrimmage that will air on ESPN this year. NewsTeam's Jessica Periani spoke with CU students ahead of the big game.
I want to go to the spring game because I just feel like it's such a good way to bring the whole Boulder community together, especially because of Coach Prime. There's been such a buzz about him, such an excitement. And
apparently there is a man named Prime Time, and that's a big deal for some, not for some reason, but that's why I'm going to see him.
It's crazy that we have a celebrity as a coach, you know. So there's so much hype around. I hope the season goes well.
My favorite part of the football games is honestly the community. I feel like Boulder has such a great sense of spirit.
To be with friends. I feel like we've been waiting for this spring for so long right now, and like we need a way to let it all out, you know. And
being with my friends.
We have friends on the team, so we want to support them, and it's a fun thing to do, you know, in the spring.
Different, and everyone's just gonna get so into it, just like Boulder does. They do it best. So
go Coach Prime, go CU, go Buffs.
Let's go Buffs.
Thanks, Jessica. Hey, Megan, what are you most excited for the spring game?
Well, since Coach Prime was hired back in December, we've heard a lot about him on campus. There's some big expectations, some big shoes for him to fill. So I'm excited to see what he's done with his team and see how they're looking, you know, ahead of the fall.
Hopefully bringing us a winning team next year.
That's all for this week's edition of NewsTeam Boulder. Thanks for joining us and have a great weekend.